What if I told you that everything you've ever wanted, confidence, success, inner peace, can start to become your reality in just 3 days? It's not magic, but it is science. It's not a miracle, but it feels like one. And all you have to do is change the way you talk to yourself. For too long, you've been living under the spell of your own words. Words like, I'm not good enough or I'll never succeed, have quietly programmed your mind to believe them. But here's the good news: if words have the power to hold you back, they also have the power to set you free. And today, I'm going to show you how. By the end of this speech, you will understand how your thoughts and words are shaping your reality every moment. You'll discover a simple 3-day practice that will begin to unlock the extraordinary potential within you. Stick with me, because this could be the moment your life begins to change. What if I told you that in just 3 days, you could begin rewriting the script of your life simply by changing the way you speak to yourself? It might sound too simple, too good to be true. But let me ask you this: how often do you stop and truly listen to the conversations you're having with yourself? These conversations, the silent monologues running through your mind, are not just fleeting thoughts. They are the foundation of the reality you're creating every single day. Every time you tell yourself, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, or I'll never get there, you're reinforcing a belief system that determines how you think, feel, and act. Now, imagine for a moment that instead of those self defeating messages, you started telling yourself something different. What if every time doubt crept in, you countered it with a simple yet powerful statement: I am capable, I am worthy, or I am becoming the best version of myself? What do you think would happen if, for just 3 days, you replaced the narrative of limitation and fear with one of possibility and empowerment? The answer might surprise you, because the change would begin almost immediately. You see, the way you talk to yourself is not just a reflection of how you feel, it's a driver of how you feel. And by consciously shifting your self talk, you can begin to influence not only your emotions, but also your actions and outcomes. The reason this works lies in the incredible adaptability of the human brain. Your brain is a dynamic, ever changing organ that responds to the stimuli you feed it. When you repeatedly engage in negative self talk, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with fear, doubt, and self criticism. Over time, these pathways become so well trodden that they feel automatic, almost like second nature. But the good news is that the brain doesn't just respond to negativity, it responds to positivity as well. Every time you replace a negative thought with a positive affirmation, you're essentially paving a new neural pathway. It's like building a new road in your mind, one that leads to confidence, motivation, and self belief. The fascinating thing is that this process doesn't take years or even months to begin. Neuroscientific studies have shown that with focused, intentional effort, the brain can start forming new connections in a matter of days. This is why the idea of a 3-day transformation is not only possible, but also incredibly effective. 3 days is all it takes to begin disrupting old patterns and creating new ones. Of course, the key word here is intentional. It's not enough to simply think positive thoughts once in a while. You have to commit to consciously and consistently speaking to yourself in a way that aligns with the person you want to become. This is where the challenge lies for most people. We've been conditioned by society, by our experiences, and by our own self doubt to believe that our inner critic is somehow more truthful than our inner cheerleader. We've grown accustomed to being hard on ourselves, to focusing on our flaws rather than our strengths. But what if you could challenge that conditioning? What if you could decide right now to become your own greatest ally instead of your harshest critic? That's the essence of this 3-day experiment. It's not about pretending that life is perfect or ignoring your challenges. It's about choosing to approach those challenges with a mindset of resilience and possibility rather than defeat and despair. Here's the beautiful part: when you start speaking to yourself with kindness and belief, you don't just change your internal state, you change the way you show up in the world. Confidence, after all, is not something that magically appears when everything is going well. Confidence is built moment by moment, thought by thought, word by word by word. It's built when you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough, even when you don't fully believe it yet. It's built when you choose to see setbacks as opportunities for growth rather than proof of failure. And it's built when you decide for 3 days to treat yourself with the same encouragement and compassion you would offer to someone you love. The way we speak to ourselves has a profound impact on how we perceive the world, how we feel about ourselves, and the actions we take or don't take. Most of us are entirely unaware of just how influential our internal dialogue is. It's not just background noise, it's the script that guides our lives. Every thought you think and every word you tell yourself builds the framework for your beliefs. These beliefs, in turn, dictate your choices, relationships, and the paths you follow. Yet, many of us allow this internal conversation to spiral into negativity, self doubt, and fear without even realizing it. The truth is, most people are their own worst critics. And this constant internal criticism creates a cycle of limitation that keeps them from realizing their full potential. Imagine for a moment that you have a friend who speaks to you the way you often speak to yourself. If that friend constantly pointed out your flaws, doubted your abilities, and undermined your confidence, how long would you tolerate their presence? Likely not very long. But the reality is, we often endure this from ourselves daily. The voice in our head says, "You're not good enough, you'll never succeed, or why even try over time?" These words shape our identity. They become the stories we tell ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of. The saddest part, these stories are rarely true. They're just old patterns inherited from past experiences or societal expectations that we've unknowingly adopted as fact. The incredible thing about self talk is that it's entirely within our control. You have the power to rewrite the script at any moment. The words you use to speak to yourself are not fixed, they can be chosen with intention. This is where the magic begins. By consciously changing the way you talk to yourself, you can begin to change the way you see yourself. And when you change the way you see yourself, your reality starts to shift in profound ways. The process isn't complicated, but it does require awareness and effort. It begins with recognizing the negative patterns of thought that are holding you back and replacing them with affirmations that empower and uplift you. Positive self talk is not about ignoring challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about reframing the way you approach those challenges. Instead of thinking, "I'm not capable of handling this," you can say, "I am learning and growing every day and I will find a way." Instead of telling yourself, "I'm a failure," you can say, "I've faced setbacks, but they've made me stronger and more determined." This shift in perspective doesn't just make you feel better in the moment, it creates a ripple effect that influences your actions, your relationships, and the opportunities that come your way. The power of self talk lies in its ability to shape your beliefs. When you repeatedly tell yourself something, your brain begins to accept it as truth. If you consistently say, "I can't," your mind will look for evidence to support that statement. It will create a reality where you feel stuck and powerless. But if you consistently say, "I can," your mind will look for ways to make that belief a reality. It will guide you towards solutions, opportunities, and actions that align with that empowered mindset. This isn't just motivational rhetoric, it's backed by science. Neuroscientists have discovered that our thoughts and words have the ability to rewire the brain, creating new neural pathways that support new ways of thinking and being. It's fascinating to realize how much influence we have over our own mental state, yet so few of us take full advantage of this power. Changing your self talk requires intentionality, but the results are life changing. Think about the times you've accomplished something you once thought was impossible. Chances are you had to override the voice of doubt in your head with the voice of encouragement. You had to tell yourself, "I can do this," even when you weren't entirely sure it was true. That simple act of choosing a more empowering narrative can make all the difference. Every word you speak to yourself is a choice. It's a choice to either build yourself up or tear yourself down. It's a choice to see your potential or to focus on your limitations. And it's a choice to create a life of confidence, fulfillment, and growth, or to remain stuck in old patterns of fear and self doubt. The beauty of self talk is that it's entirely within your control, no matter what external circumstances you're facing. You don't need anyone else's permission or approval to start changing the way you speak to yourself. You simply need to decide that you're worth it. Your mind is like fertile soil, constantly absorbing and nurturing the seeds you plant within it. These seeds are your thoughts, words, and beliefs, and they determine the kind of life you will ultimately cultivate. Yet many of us unknowingly scatter seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity, allowing these to take root and flourish. Over time, they grow into a dense forest of limitations, blocking our ability to see the light of possibility. What's even more striking is that these limitations often stem from nothing more than repetitive patterns of thought patterns that we have the power to change. The words you use to talk to yourself are not just fleeting expressions of emotion, they are powerful commands that your subconscious mind takes seriously. If you repeatedly tell yourself, "I'm not good enough," your subconscious mind begins to accept this as a fact and reinforces behaviors and habits that align with that belief. On the other hand, if you consistently tell yourself, I am capable of achieving great things, your subconscious begins to work in your favor, guiding you toward opportunities and actions that reflect this empowering belief. This is the transformative power of self talk. It doesn't just influence how you feel, in the moment, it reshapes the very fabric of your identity. What makes self talk so impactful is that it operates on a subconscious level. Most of your daily thoughts and actions are governed not by deliberate choices, but by automatic responses that have been programmed into your mind over time. These programs are formed through repetition. What you repeatedly think, say, and believe becomes the default setting for your mind. This is why negative self talk can feel so automatic. If you've spent years criticizing yourself, doubting your abilities, or focusing on your flaws, those patterns become deeply ingrained. But just as these patterns were formed through repetition, they can be replaced in the same way. By deliberately choosing to speak to yourself in a new, empowering way, you can begin to overwrite the old programs and create a new default setting, one that supports your growth, confidence, and success. This process of transformation begins with awareness. You cannot change what you do not recognize. Take a moment to observe the thoughts that run through your mind on a daily basis. Are they uplifting or do they pull you down? Do they encourage you to take action or do they keep you stuck in a cycle of hesitation and fear? Simply becoming aware of your inner dialogue is a powerful first step because it allows you to interrupt the cycle. Once you notice a negative or limiting thought, you can consciously choose to replace it with a more empowering one. It's important to understand that this is not about pretending everything is perfect or denying your challenges. It's about changing the lens through which you view those challenges. For example, instead of thinking, this is too hard, I'll never figure it out, you can say, this is a challenge, but I am resourceful and capable of finding a solution. Instead of telling yourself, I always fail, you can say, every setback is an opportunity for me to learn and grow stronger. These shifts in language may seem small, but their impact is profound. Over time, they change the way you think, feel, and act, creating a ripple effect that transforms every aspect of your life. What's remarkable about this process is how quickly it can begin to take effect. Studies in neuroscience have shown that the brain is highly adaptable, capable of forming new neural pathways in response to new thoughts and behaviors. This phenomenon, known as neuroplasticity, means that even long standing patterns of negative self talk can be changed with consistent effort. When you choose to speak to yourself with kindness, belief, and encouragement, you're not just changing your mindset in the moment, you're literally rewiring your brain for positivity, resilience, and success. Another powerful aspect of self talk is its ability to influence your emotional state. The words you use to describe yourself and your experiences directly affect how you feel. If you describe a situation as overwhelming, you're likely to feel stressed and anxious. But if you describe the same situation as an opportunity to grow, you're more likely to feel motivated and empowered. By changing your language, you change your perspective. And by changing your perspective, you change your reality. This is why self talk is such a valuable tool. It allows you to take control of your internal world, regardless of what's happening in your external circumstances. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't require any special skills, tools, or resources. All it takes is your willingness to observe your thoughts, challenge the ones that don't serve you, and replace them with ones that do. It's a simple yet profound shift that can set you on a path toward greater self belief, emotional resilience, and personal transformation. The way you talk to yourself determines how the world responds to you. Every word you think, every belief you hold, and every emotion you cultivate sends out a frequency that shapes your interactions with people, situations, and opportunities. It's as though your inner dialogue acts as a silent signal, broadcasting your energy and intentions to the universe. This is not just a metaphor, it's a principle supported by science and experience. Your thoughts and words generate emotional states, and those emotions influence the choices you make, the actions you take, and ultimately the outcomes you attract. Imagine walking into a room with the thought, I don't belong here. That single belief shapes your posture, your facial expressions, and even the tone of your voice. Others in the room unconsciously pick up on that energy, and they may mirror it back to you. You might feel ignored, out of place, or undervalued, which then reinforces your original belief. This is the self fulfilling cycle of negative self talk. But now imagine entering the same room with the thought, I bring something unique to this space. Your shoulders naturally lift, your gaze becomes more confident, and your interactions reflect a sense of worthiness. Others respond differently to this energy, creating a positive feedback loop that reinforces your new belief. This dynamic occurs in every area of life, whether you're meeting new people, pursuing a goal, or navigating a challenge. The way you talk to yourself doesn't just stay within your mind, it ripples outward, influencing the energy you bring into any situation. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that things never work out for you, that energy creates resistance and blocks opportunities. On the other hand, when you choose thoughts that align with confidence, gratitude, and possibility, you begin to open doors that once seemed firmly shut. Changing your self talk to shift your energy isn't about forcing positivity or denying reality. It's about consciously choosing a narrative that supports your growth and aligns with the future you want to create. For example, instead of focusing on what's wrong or what's missing in your life, you can focus on what you're grateful for and what's already working. Gratitude is a particularly powerful tool because it shifts your focus from lack to abundance. When you feel grateful, you emit a sense of contentment and trust, which naturally attracts more experiences that align with those feelings. Another way to shift your energy is by using affirmations. These are intentional statements that reflect the beliefs and outcomes you want to embody. When you say, I am capable of achieving my goals, even if you don't fully believe it, if you don't fully believe it at first, you start to plant the seed of that belief. But repetition is key because it strengthens the neural pathways associated with those positive thoughts. Over time, what once felt like an aspirational statement becomes a natural part of your identity. Your energy begins to reflect this new self concept, and the world around you responds in kind. It's important to remember that your energy doesn't just affect others, it also affects you on a physiological level. When you engage in negative self talk, your body responds with stress. Your heart rate increases, your muscles tense, and your brain becomes less effective at problem solving. But when you speak to yourself with kindness and encouragement, your body enters a state of relaxation and openness. Your brain becomes more creative, your immune system functions more efficiently, and you feel more resilient in the face of challenges. This is the power of aligning your self talk with the energy you want to embody. You also have the ability to reset your energy throughout the day. Whenever you notice that your inner dialogue has become critical or pessimistic, pause and take a deep breath. Remind yourself that you have a choice in how you respond. By consciously shifting your thoughts, you can instantly change your emotional state and the energy you bring to the moment. This practice might feel unfamiliar at first, but with time, it becomes a natural part of your daily life. Every thought, word, and belief is like a drop of water in a pond. It creates ripples that extend far beyond what you can immediately see. This is why cultivating empowering self talk is one of the most impactful changes you can make. It's not just about feeling better in the moment, it's about creating an energetic foundation that attracts opportunities, strengthens relationships, and supports your overall well being. Your energy is a magnet, and your self talk is what determines its polarity. When you align your words with the energy of possibility and abundance, you begin to draw experiences into your life that reflect those same qualities. Every word you say to yourself carries an emotional charge that directly impacts your physiology, mindset, and actions. This is because the human brain is not just a thinking organ, it is also an emotional one. When you speak negatively to yourself, even in fleeting moments, your brain interprets those words as instructions. It triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol, which puts your body in a heightened state of alertness, often referred to as the fight or flight response. This state, while useful in moments of real danger, becomes harmful when sustained over time due to negative self talk. It drains your energy, clouds your thinking, and makes it difficult to focus on long term goals. Conversely, positive self talk has the opposite effect. When you affirm your abilities, acknowledge your strengths, or express gratitude, your brain responds by releasing feel good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These chemicals not only elevate your mood, but also enhance your cognitive functions, making you more creative, resourceful, and capable of solving problems. In essence, the way you talk to yourself creates a feedback loop that either supports or sabotages your well being and performance. The beauty of this process is that it can be consciously directed. By choosing your words carefully, you have the power to shift your emotional and physiological state in real time. One of the most fascinating aspects of self talk is how it influences your brain's neural pathways. The brain operates like a network of highways with well traveled routes representing your most common thoughts and beliefs. Negative self talk reinforces these highways, making it easier for your brain to default to those patterns. Over time, these negative pathways can become so entrenched that they feel automatic and inescapable. However, the brain's incredible adaptability, known as neuroplasticity, means that these pathways can be rewired. Each time you consciously choose positive, empowering self talk, you begin to form new neural connections. These connections, when reinforced through repetition, become the new default, gradually replacing old patterns of negativity. This process of rewiring your brain through self talk is not just theoretical, it's supported by numerous studies in neuroscience. For example, researchers have found that individuals who engage in positive self affirmation show increased activity in the brain's reward centers. This activity not only improves mood, but also enhances motivation and resilience. When you talk to yourself with compassion and encouragement, you are literally training your brain to be more optimistic, focused, and confident. Over time, this mental conditioning creates a profound shift in how you perceive challenges and opportunities. Self talk also affects your ability to persevere in the face of obstacles. Challenges are an inevitable part of life, but how you respond to them is determined by your inner dialogue. Negative self talk amplifies feelings of defeat, making it harder to stay motivated and resilient. Positive self talk, on the other hand, acts as an internal coach, reminding you of your strengths and encouraging you to keep going. For instance, when faced with a setback, you can choose to say, "This is a temporary hurdle, and I have the skills to overcome it." This kind of language not only keeps you focused, but also strengthens your belief in your ability to succeed. The practice of conscious self talk is especially powerful when paired with visualization. When you combine affirming words with mental images of yourself achieving your goals, you engage both the verbal and visual centers of your brain. This dual activation creates a more vivid and compelling representation of success, making it easier for your brain to align your thoughts and actions with that vision. Over time, this practice not only boosts your confidence, but also enhances your ability to manifest your desired outcomes. 3 days. That's all it takes to begin transforming your life. Imagine what's possible if you made this a habit for a week, a month, or a year. But let's start with 3 days. Here's your challenge for the next 72 hours. Speak to yourself with love, respect, and belief. Watch what happens. And when you begin to feel the shift, when you notice how much lighter, freer, and more empowered you feel, you'll realize one of the greatest truths: the way you talk to yourself is the way you shape your world. The question is, are you ready to start shaping a world you love?